Hi guys, good evening. I'm Bill, and I'm just giving you a little update of where I am on Sunday evening as far as the progress has gone with this Tormach milling machine and getting it ready to go to make parts. I spent most of this past week working on the automatic tool changer, and some of you may have seen the video that I did Thursday. Where we got it working, and you know, some of the things that we got it to do were okay. Other things, you know, needed a little bit of tweaking. One of the things that I was really concerned about was the collets on these have to rest it right up against the base of the spindle consistently, and they weren't. There was about a 1/16 of an inch of clearance between each one of those. So even though the collets would retract and the tool, you know, the tool change would happen and everything, I couldn't be sure that I was going to get consistent depth of cut each time, you know. So I spent a little time messing around with that, and I found a couple of things out that were important to this process that I didn't know before, or that I hadn't paid close enough attention to. So got that all squared away, and you know, now this thing is indexing correctly, you know, at the right height, and it's doing the tool changes just the way that I hoped that it would. So now I'm able to go ahead, hook up the coolant, hook up the put in the chip trays, and put it in the full enclosure with lights and everything. So that's probably going to be a much quicker process, I hope, knock on metal, than you know, getting up to this point. I mean, there's a lot of things that you have to do if you want to get a machine set up, like tramming the head and things like that. So chances are 90% of this stuff nobody would ever notice if I didn't do it, but because I know about this stuff and I know that it exists, I feel better, more confident if I go ahead and take the time and look at it. You know, one of the things that we did, my friend John from over at Morrisville College came over and helped me to level the machine, and he brought a Starrett level, which is a precision level that we put on the bed of the machine, and that allowed us to get it, you know, really accurately leveled. And once that happened, everything else started falling into place. So I mean, that was a good base to start. And I know that we could do the same thing with our CNC routers, and get better cuts, you know, making sure that the bed of the machine is level is always important. And then you have to do some things to tram the spindle to make sure that the spindle isn't sitting, you know, crooked in one direction or the other, or front to back and everything. And once you do that, you're going to get you know, nice flat cuts. So if you've ever done a surfacing on your router table, you would know this, because sometimes you'll see like little waves or ripples that get cut as it makes each pass with a step over. That's usually an indication that you're out of tram, and if you look really carefully at where there's lots of material and where there's not, you can generally tell in which direction that you need to correct it for. So maybe I'll do some videos on tramming the CNC router and some on tramming the mill, so that at least you guys see what I'm talking about, or you know what to look for. Yeah, not a big deal. I'm going to show you the tool change now, just because I like doing that. So here goes nothing. All right. Okay, I've got tool number 3 in the machine, and I want to grab tool number 4. So I just type in tool 4, I hit enter. It gives me a check to make sure that I want to do that, and then I hit yes. That blast of air you hear between movements is it blowing air over the spindle so that it would clear any chips that might be in the way. So if I wanted to go back to tool 3, I could just enter it again, hit enter, and click yes. Same thing if I want tool 5. Okay, and if you look really closely here, you'll notice that there's no gap between the spindle shoulder and this tool holder. I'm gonna put this down for a second and show you what it was looking like before. This is an exaggeration and it took a little doing, but you see there's space here between the spindle nose and the collet. This is way exaggerated from what I had, but that gives you an idea of why I spent the time to go through it so that I could get it to the point where it's actually where it's supposed to be, like that. So anyway, I hope that that wasn't boring for you or whatever, because it seems like this is all I've been doing for the last 2 days, is trying to get this thing squared away. But sometimes it takes a while to do it, especially when you're working it on your own. And I have some time constraints that I want to meet. I would love to get started cutting stuff, but I also want to cut quality parts when I do my work. And taking the time to get this right was very important to me. So thanks for your patience, guys, and be getting those edge finders out as soon as they're ready. It's like that old wine commercial, sell no wine before it's time. So I kind of want to make sure you get the best product that I can make. So thanks for bearing with me. I am glad to see some folks on here. Anton, Dave, a few others I missed while we were going through this, but I'm glad you could check it out. All right, hopefully tomorrow you'll see me start putting on the chip pan and stuff like that. And I'll take some time to get some of this up onto YouTube, since it's been live so far, and I'd like to publish a little bit of this so folks get to see that. So I hope you all have a great evening. Hi guys, it's Bill. Just thought I'd give you a progress report on how I'm doing with this Tormach and getting it ready to go. So far, the progress has been a lot slower than I hoped, but that was because I had a couple of things that I had to wait on. One of the things that I was waiting on was a coolant hose. You can't really see it because it's behind the spindle, but it was a metal coolant hose that adapter that needed the threading redone on it, and so they sent me another one. That arrived on Saturday. I put that in today and got the hose hooked up, as you can see. Little valve and everything. The coolant hose comes down from a spot underneath the base, and that's how you get the coolant to your part, so that you can mill your aluminum and get the chips out. So things were going pretty good with that. I had an issue with the monitor that they took care of. I'm very happy with the solution that they came up with on the monitor, and I'm actually looking forward to getting a different one in the future. But this, for now, the solution we worked out works great for me, so it works great for them too. So very happy with that. The other thing we were waiting on was some help to get the full enclosure up. It's really a two-person job, and nobody's been available to help me, but my son's got the next couple of days off, so we're going to try and take that on next. I've done a few things to speed that progress along. I was able to place a couple of the panels on the tray where they're going to be, and put the spot holes in there and drill and tap, so that when I get to that point in the assembly, it should be just put the caulk down, put the panel on, bolt them in place. There's a few screw holes that I had to change just because they made access to them was nearly impossible in the stock configuration. When you're trying to make 1 mil that has 30 or 40 different configurations, it's really hard to get one solution that meets everybody's needs. And the enclosure is probably not something a lot of people put on these machines, because frankly, if shower curtain's probably good enough for most folks around the edge of the machine. So some of the holes that are here are for the backsplash or other parts that come with the machine. So you can't really expect everything to be perfect. So I'm still very happy with the choice of this machine, and I can't wait to start making chips, and I know you can't wait for me to start making them. So and meanwhile, I've already done the CAD work for the new fixtures, and I'll probably start them as soon as I get the first batch of parts out, so that I'll be able to make these the way that I envisioned it when I got started on this whole project. So, thanks for your patience again, guys. That's it. I see there's about a few of you watching. I don't know if you've got any questions. If you have, go ahead and type them in, and I'll try and answer them. Oh, by the way, the T-shirts arrived today. The prizes that I was giving away to the 5 lucky winners from the 5K giveaway to celebrate reaching 5,000 members. Now, so I'll be getting those out probably tomorrow or the day after, as soon as I verify all of your shipping addresses. So if you won one of those T-shirts, check your email over the next day or so for a message from me confirming your shipping address, so I can get those out to you. The other thing is, I kind of like the look of the shirts. Tomorrow night when I do one of these, I'll show you one of the shirts, because I got one for me. But had fun doing the giveaway and watching some of the responses we had. So yeah, thanks for the thumbs up. I didn't catch who that was, but I really appreciate that. So at any rate, I hope you guys are not bored with all of this. These things take time, I guess, and I'm just anxious to cut some metal. So hopefully we'll get that happening in the next day or so. So thank you for your time. Have a great night, and everybody, go out and make something. All right. I'm Bill Griggs. Have a great day.